Hey everybody, how you guys doing? This is your friendly neighborhood realtor, Annabelle Carrillo, and I'm here to bring you again a snapshot of what happened at the end of February. I also will briefly touch on what's going on with the banking system. Not my field. I am not in lending. I don't do that, but it's kind of hard not to talk about it, seeing as it's been constantly in the news. So, and it does tie into mortgages, which ties into housing, right? For any of my lender friends out there, please jump in and give me your 2 cents, correct me. Let's shoot a video so we can talk more about that. But anyway, I will lightly touch on it. I'll speak on it just to give you my 2 cents. Okay, before I get into the video and talk about both the snapshot of the housing market and what's happening in lending right now and the banking system, I'd like to remind you that if you do get any value in this video, please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And once again, thanks for being here, and let's go ahead and get into the numbers for today. Okay. So as we look here, I'm going to remind you, as always, I continuously use the same metrics. Single family homes, not specifically condos or townhouses, although I can get into that, but mainly single family homes, any construction type, any size, and it could be resale or new home builds. So first thing I go into is looking at the median home price. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? So here we are at the median home price. And if you look at the chart, a whole lot of nothing seems to be happening. So we ended off in December with the median home price of 425. We ended off in January at the median home price of 425. We ended up in February with the median home price of 425. Much like I said last video, it does kind of seem if we haven't hit a bottom, we're close to, there's not much going on anymore. Remember when I said that, it was before what happened with the banking. I mean, this just literally happened last Friday. We'll come back to that. But for now, what I can say is the median home price is seeing a whole lot of nothing. It's not going up, it's not going down. It looks relatively stable. Okay. All right. New listings. Okay, so let's look at what's happening there. Last month of January, we saw 2,615 new listings. Down to, it looks like 2,000, wait, yeah, 2,384. So we did go down a little bit in new listings, right? So that means not more houses going into the market to get listed for that month of February. Um, Pending. So houses that were in pending, then this makes sense. More houses, it looks like, went from pending in January to February. So it looks like in January, we had homes pending at 1,922, and in February, 2,206. So we had more houses that went into pending. Okay, I'm going to repeat that why I say that this makes sense. So if you think about it, looking back at what was happening with the rates from about November to about the end of January, rates were down, right? They were slowly coming down from that really high in November of last year. So it makes sense that sometime in January, people would have gone into buying a house, sometime January, February, and then February the rates started to shoot up again, but there was already houses pending. So now it makes sense because of the rates that more people would have wanted to buy at that time. Let's see how many closed. Looks like that went up too. So in February, we had 1,331. I'm sorry, in January, we had 1,331. And in February, we had 1,735. So more houses actually closed. Again, those houses would have gone into the market in January, closed in February. All of that makes sense considering that, like I said, the rates had gone down for a little bit there, like a good 2-ish, 3 months. Days on the market. Let's see what's going on. It looks like days on the market went down. So in January, we were at 44 days on the market, and in February, 42. So not a big drop, kind of consistent with the median home price, not a whole lot happening. The price didn't really change. The days on the market barely went down. So houses are maybe getting sold a little quicker, but it's not a big move. Here's another way to look at it. Monthly supply of inventory. So, how much inventory do we have? January, 3.1 months of inventory. February, 2.7. Pretty similar numbers. So, when you just consider the median home price, about how many houses went into the market, about how many deals are pending in February, about how long houses are staying on the market, you're looking at something that looks close to the same as January. Not much movement going on there, right? So it's good. Maybe we're looking at a more stable market. Maybe we've hit a bottom. Maybe yes, maybe no. Okay. So I was feeling really good about this stability and maybe stability going forward, right? But then we saw, and again, this is for you to discuss with your lender because this has to do with rates, which is not my field as a realtor, but we did see overall rates started to go back up in February, right? And maybe even into March. And then the whole thing happened with the Silicon Valley Bank. And now rates are look like they're coming down. And everybody's a little bit on edge about what's going to happen with the rest of the banks. Is the banking system doing well? Da 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 da. Followed up by next week, the Fed is going to meet again to decide what they're going to do about inflation. Are they going to have the rates go back up? Are we going to keep raising rates to control inflation because inflation is so out of control? Is inflation under control and we're done? Or, more importantly, is the Fed going to be worried that if they raise rates furthermore, it's going to affect the banking system more? Okay. All of that seems like it's not directly related to housing, which I understand that. But if the Fed chooses, which I think is likely, but I'm just guessing here. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not in lending, but if the Fed chooses not to raise the rates anymore because inflation is under control, or because they're afraid of what will happen to the banking system if they keep raising the rates, then that will directly affect not directly, but that will affect the rates that you see for a mortgage. Okay. And that's why that matters to you as a consumer, as a buyer of a house who is going to need a mortgage. Whatever decision is made by the Fed next week on whether that rate is are we going to go up in basis points? Whatever happens with that will affect your mortgage, which will in turn affect the housing prices and this and that. Think about it. If rates come down, right? If rates come down, more people can qualify to buy. If more people can qualify to buy, there's more buyers in the market. And if there's more buyers, you have more competition as someone who is purchasing a house. Also, though, you have a better rate, right? So you can afford more. So you see how all of these things are interconnected? What happened Friday with the bank might affect what the Fed does as far as raising or dropping those the basis points, which affect the banks, which will in turn affect you with your mortgage. Everything is interconnected. Now, again, I'm just guessing here. My guess is if we're not done with raising those basis points, if the Fed is not already done, they're close to done because they can have a huge effect on it can have a huge effect on the banks, which we already saw with that bank going kaput, right, in Silicon Valley. If that continues to happen, it could get worse and worse and worse. And we don't want that. So I don't think the rates are going to continue to go up, which means we might see lower rates. And if that happens, we might see more movement in the housing market as a whole, right? More movement, more people being able to buy, more purchases, and then this market shifting to a seller's market. Right now, we're flush. It seems like nothing is happening, right? That's my 2 cents on it. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just taking the information from everywhere that I find it and I'm trying to make those connections. How does this connect to that? Anyway, for now, all you need to know is there's been a whole lot of, maybe call it stability, even though it doesn't seem like it. A whole lot of nothing changing January, February, December, January, and February. A whole lot of very similar numbers. We are no longer going down, down, down like we were, at least in reference to single family homes. That medium home price is staying put. Maybe this is a good time for you to start at least talking to a lender so that you are prepared in case this becomes a market where you're comfortable buying, where you're getting a rate that you're comfortable with as far as a mortgage goes. Go talk to a lender. If you need any suggestions, reach out to me. I got your back. If you have any questions about any specific section of Las Vegas or any specific housing type, maybe you're looking for a condo or a townhome. Like I said, I can really change these metrics to really hit the specific things you're looking for. Give me a call, 702 376 5472. And until next time, bye everybody.